Oh, what's happening, racing fans? Welcome back to the channel, proudly sponsored by betting.co.uk. It's finally that time of the year again. Countdown to Cheltenham Series 3 is now going to be live every couple of weeks, and we're going to try and make it another profitable season. What we're going to be doing in every single episode is picking a few races to have a little bit of a discussion about, give you our thoughts, and at the end of each episode, we are going to be bringing you an Ante Post selection all the way up to March in the Cheltenham Festival. So we've had two very profitable seasons so far, and last year the best results, we had Marine Nationale at 25-1, and we had Impervious at 16-1. So we're just going to try and top that off once again for this season and see how we get on. But as you can see, I've got a brand new panel for this season. We might as well start with Mr. YouTube himself. Jaime Wrenn, how you doing, brother?
Joseph, how are you?
Good,
Great
mate.
to be here.
Good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Glad you've actually managed to find some time in your schedule, because you are everywhere these days. But glad to have you, Jay. It'll be a good season.
Will I be famous around Cheltenham on Saturday, will I?
I think so. You might have to wear a mask or something just to get, to keep everyone away from you, like. But Scotty, how you doing? Bad boy?
Yeah, sound, mate. Thanks for having us. Looking forward to it. Yeah, all good, thank you.
And Kieran, making your YouTube debut today. Kieran, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good, man. All good. Ready to go.
Ready
Can't
to
wait
find
for it, mate, to be honest.
Ready to find some winners?
Find some winners, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Cool.
Why not?
Well, we're not going to spend too much time waffling on, but before we do, just a quick shout out to Lloyd at Hacked Up Racing. You can get 15% off your merchandise from Lloyd at Hacked Up using code GingerJoe15. And I'm just obsessed with it myself. I've got a whole wardrobe full of it. So why not go over and check him out? But right then, guys, as I said, we're not going to spend too long waffling on. We're going to go straight into it. Starting off with the 4 championship races. We kick off with the Champion Hurdle. We have Constitution Hill as your 1-2 favourite. Impere Pass at 13-2. State Man at 8-1. And pretty much any price you like for the remainder in the market. So we might as well start off with Constitution Hill. Of course, he's got an official rating of 175. He's 7 out of 7, 6 grade 1s. And ratings just has him miles clear here. Jamie, the first time you were on our channel, this was actually the question that I first asked you last year, and I'm going to ask you again. Does Constitution Hill just win the Champion Hurdle this year?
Same answer again. Yes, he will, James. Yeah, definitely. 1-2 at the moment is the best price. Oh. What in there?
We got you.
Can you see me?
Yep, see you.
My screen's gone blank. I'll belt away. He'll win, James, easy. I suppose Impere Pass is a great price at 13-2 each way. Top price here, Betchley 6-5, 13-2. I think that's buying money each way. And if you got a place market on him, and if you could steal a bit of 7-4, 2-1, I think that's buying money. He's definitely going to be second to him. And then in State Man will probably be third. Like, how many runners are you going to have? 3-4 runners? Do you know what I mean? In the whole thing. So look, it looks like a wise guy's choice, but it's 13-2 each way. Impere Pass against them, really, and that's it, really.
Sure.
Don't mind the rest.
I quite like the fact that Willie's taking Constitution Hill on, because I do think he can give him some sort of race. But my worry with there probably going to be maybe 4 or 5 runners is that tactically I have no idea how they're going to get him beat, because Constitution Hill, I think, can just win how he likes. Tactically, he could probably go from the back or from the front. I just don't see how Willie is going to manage to get Constitution beat. Scotty, any alternative view, or pretty straightforward for you as well?
Straightforward. He'll win again. I think the biggest danger to Constitution Hill was going chasing, and that's your favourite, Marine Nationale. I think there's not much between him and Impere Pass, but I would have preferred Marine. Looking down the betting, I think Jamie's right. It could be a 4 or 5 runner race. The only other ones I think that could turn up could be Pied Piper, which I know Blake tipped up at a big price, and my old mate Rubo, who is 50-1. He's probably the second best British hurdler, isn't he? Over 2 miles. And he's 50-1. That just goes to show how good the Irish are in behind Impere Pass. State Man won 4 grade 1s last year, but Constitution Hill will win. And if I was just, Rubo's probably my favourite horse in training. He's 50-1. I'd probably stick a 5 each way just to nick a 10-1 place and hope that State Man underperforms on the day. But it really is all about Constitution Hill, and he will win.
how close do you think Imperi Pass can get to Conhill, Scotty?
I've looked at the in-depth analysis of previous seasons of horses who've won Ballymore's, who I think he may compare to. And my other old mate, Sam Crow, I mean, he was sent off favourite to beat Bouvedere fighting fifth that year, and he absolutely got battered. I'm hoping Imperi Pass. The only thing with Imperi Pass is a slight negative, I thought, was Punchestown. He didn't necessarily have the hardest season. He won the Moscow Flyer, the Ballymore, and then he's maiden before that. He just looked a bit laboured, I thought, at Punchestown, and maybe there's just a bit of idleness, a bit of laziness. And I think if push comes to shove, he may struggle to get past Constitution Hill, but I do think he's the second best horse in the race potentially. So I'd agree with Jamie. He's probably the second home to Constitution Hill.
He's still got to improve, hasn't he, to get close to Imperi Pass. And the thing with me is that if we expect any improvement whatsoever from Constitution Hill, then this is actually going to be an even harder task than what we even think it is at this point in time. But Kieran, I think Constitution Hill is in a little bit of a league on his own. But you've got a little bit of an alternative opinion, I believe.
Yeah, mate. I'm actually in the Imperi Pass camp, which I put on my Twitter a few months ago and got absolutely slaughtered for. But I did my research, like some people do. Going down the novice route, novice form, should we say, Constitution Hill, everybody's raved about his Supreme and how he won by so far and this, that, and other. Not coming off the bit, everything else. He was rated 148 in his novice season. I know he's now 175, and he's most likely the winner. However, Imperi Pass was rated, I'll just look at my notes now, 157 at the end of this season. So that's £9 higher than what Constitution Hill was. Obviously, he needs to improve massively, like Con Hill did, to get anywhere near him. But I think he'll give him more of a race than what State Man did the year gone. So I know Con Hill's the most likely winner, and I'm not going to get away from that. But I think Imperi Pass will give him more of a race than the State Man did last year. And I'm going to take my out and go 13-2 straight on the nose rather than 13-2 each way like somebody else is. I'm trying to muggy each way prices, not mention any names, Jamie. But there we go. So yeah, stick my neck out. Imperi Pass will beat Con Hill in March.
Wow, I mean, that's a big old statement, and the first one you've made as well, Kieran. Like,
Huge
so
statement.
Stateman's not getting closer to Con Hill than Imperi Pass is. Not a chance. The cruising speed on Imperi Pass is massive. I think when they get to the bottom of Imperi Pass, he's going to be even better than what we believe. But I still think ultimately, with the lack of runners, personally, that Constitution Hill takes all the beating. Right, okay then, let's move on to the Champion Chase. Again, a little bit of a funny race at the moment, likely to have two main contenders here. We've got El Fabiolo at even money. We've got John Bonnet 6-1, Edward Stone at 14s, Fernie Hollow and Blue Lord at 33s, and any price you like for the remainder. We've got two main contenders here. Al Fabiolo with an official rating of 170. He's 4 from 4 over fences. John Bond's 5 out of 6 and a rating of 166. So he's got about £4 to find with Al Fabiolo. Scotty, any chance that John Bond can beat Al Fabiolo in March?
Well, he's got a chance, but I think everything has to go perfect for him. I think what's in his favour is Al Fabiolo's not the cleanest of jumpers sometimes. I do think he's a bit like an energumen in a way. He kind of like goes really low at his fences sometimes, and he is prone to a bit of a mistake. Al Fabiolo's definitely got the bigger engine. He's definitely got the more ability, I think, as a chaser. John Bond, I think, last season beating Calico twice at Warwick, and then in that Mickey Mouse Grade 1 at Aintree, I'd say, yeah, take it with a pinch of salt, that form. He was well beaten in the Arkle, wasn't he? But I think he really jumped well at Sandown in the Celebration Chase. So I think he's improved on that later in the season. So I'd say, similar to Imperi Pass, he's definitely the safe each way player if he goes. But I actually think the biggest danger, might surprise you all, I'm not really one to be fancy and look away from the obvious, because I'm Al Fabiolo's biggest fan and I think he will win. But I think Boot Hill was a pretty interesting contender at 33-1. Harry Fry's a funny trainer, I think. I'm his biggest fan, Harry Fry, but sometimes I think he thinks about the prize money more than campaigning his horses over the right races. I think it was December 2021, Boot Hill made his chase debut and he got well beaten as favourite. And then he kind of put him away for a bit. Then he had 6 really quick races last season as a novice. He obviously lost to John Bond, and Henry VIII came out, and I think he was second in the Pendle behind Solo at Kempton. But I think that this year, he's had that one run last weekend at Ascot, and I was really impressed with Boot Hill. I do think there's something in that horse where he could just all of a sudden just find everything right, and he could run a big race. And again, I think this is a race that's going to cut up, and Boot Hill at 33s is interesting. don't think he'll beat Alfabiolo, but I think he could finish second to him. So he's one that I'm interested in. But if the Alfabiolo turns up, that one at Cheltenham and one at Punchestown, they don't have a hope in hell.
Interesting that you say that about Boot Hill. The only concern I'd have about him is that I feel like he might need a flat track at Kempton or an Ascot. I'm not totally sure that Cheltenham will be his bag. Going back to John Bon, though, what I will say is I think if he's going to have any chance of beating Alfabiolo, I don't know what you think, James. I think he's got to go from the front here and use his jumping as his best asset, because he's not going to be able to pick up Alfabiolo from behind. Surely he's going to have to try and take his chance from the front, hope Alfabiolo makes some sort of mistake in behind him, and then use his stamina to obviously kick on at the finish. But John Bon's going to be bigger and stronger this year as well. He's a one hell of a unit, so he could seriously improve. How do you see it at the moment, Jamie? You've got even money in 6-1 for the front pair.
6-1 is valued, Joe, at the moment, I think. Like I know, like what is he, 2-5, 4-9 to run Slur on Sunday. I don't think he'll turn up on Sunday. I think he'll go straight to Tingle Creek. I'm Edwardstone's #1 fan. 16-1. But what worries me that Alan King says he'll run the Slur and he might go to the Peterborough, but surely he's not going to the Peterborough. He's going to take on Chambon and defend his Tingle Creek. Then we'll find out. There, to me, Edwardstone and Chambon are like Sandown specialists. They really come alive around Sandown. So we'll find out then. The only other value in the race is 33-1 is Dino Blue, because Dino Blue is the pace angle in the race this year, because Dino Blue should be running here, not the Mayor's Chase, because she doesn't stay 2.5 miles. The one day, it's like El Fabiolo reminds me of, in a way, Moscow Flyer. If it's a clean round, it wins. If it's not a clean round, clean round, if you know what I'm trying to say, because he hits fences, then he's vulnerable. So it's like a pair A pass. Like, are you going to take the each way steal again on Jambon? And yeah, I'm going to take it because he has a legitimate chance of reversing the form. Yeah.
Can I just jump in there quickly, Joe? Sorry, I was actually going to say when I compared Alfabiolo to an argument, I was watching back the champion chases of years gone by, and Moscow Flyer is exactly the same as Alfabiolo. Exactly what Jamie said. He's got that little mistake in him, but just that absolute ability will win him races if he gets. It's just a clear round, isn't it? That's all it is.
Very, very similar in the sense as well. Moscow, we forget that Moscow Flyer was a seriously good hurdler before he went chasing as well, and definitely had the mistakes in him. So, but again, we've also got to give Alfabiolo the credit that he might improve his jumping. This experience is going to help him a lot too. I definitely think there's a lot more to play for than what the market says there. But the each way go on, James, go on.
The one thing I will say, Joe, is that what I'm afraid of this season with Edwardstone is that the race at Cheltenham in January, that he could be like some horses that Editor de G broke his heart. He got past him, and all of a sudden then Editor de G got him at the line. Some horses just don't come back from that. And look, on Sunday, hopefully we'll see on a bit of better ground the real Edwardstone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's quite ground dependent as well. I think we'll only see him at his best on his right ground as well. I know he's very good anyway. But it's a little bit more of an interesting race than what perhaps the betting says at the moment. But I definitely rather back John Bon each way on the basis that he's got a seriously strong asset of jumping rather than risking a win only on Alfabiolo evens. Kieran, anything to add to those at all?
Not really, mate. I think personally, Alfabiolo just wins. I can't have John Bon for love or money. I think he was put in his place in the Arkle, and I think if he was to turn up here, because he could get beaten at Tingle Creek by Edwardstone. Primed Edwardstone could beat him in the Tingle Creek, and then Nicky get the wobblers and go, well, maybe we'll go up to 2.5 miles with John Bon. And then all of a sudden, who does Alfabiolo have to beat after that? Let's be honest. So
he has to go.
Alfabiolo's wins for me.
He has to go 2 miles. You cannot send John Bon to 2 mile 5, in my opinion. He's especially
this is Nicky we're talking about.
Of course, the decision is going to be there. But I just think that he is an out and out 2 miler. I do think he's going to stay, but I think John Bon is most effective over 2 miles. It just depends what happens to Alfabiolo. But I really do hope we can give him a good push.
Said it about Shishkin though.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Yeah,
said it about Shishkin, and look what happens there. Yeah, he's now going to be a gold couple.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. We will come on to Shishkin in a little while as well, because I've got a few reservations over that sort of trip. But it's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, it depends if you want the each way on John Bon or take Alfabiolo. Not too much of a say at this point. Right, let's move on then, guys, to the Stayers Hurdle. We've got Tiahupu and Tilem as your 6-1 joint favourites. Marie's Rock at 12s. Sire de Burde, last year's winner at 20s. Irish Point at 20s. West Balboa 20s. And 25-1 bar those. Now, this is definitely going to be quite a tough race to figure out. And I haven't really got a massively strong fancy at this point in time. But how on earth they put this Tilem there at 6-1 absolutely baffles me. I don't necessarily trust that form at the moment. And I'd probably still prefer to be on Tiahupu, knowing that he is quite a straightforward type as well, and probably still going to run his race and improve come March. Scotty, what are your thoughts currently on the Stayers Hurdle? Have you got a bet in it at the moment, or
no, nothing at all. I spent about an hour going through it yesterday again. It's the one race, Ante Post, I try not to get involved in too much. I'm not in the Tilem camp whatsoever. I don't take that French form seriously, never do. Jamie made an interesting point last night on Dave's renting and racing, and the fences and hurdles in France are totally different. And sometimes they come over and they avoid the UK and they think they just don't perform the same. I just would not be interested whatsoever. I'd rather stick with a known quantity. I think Tiahupu as a second chance in the race. I'm one for a little crazy stat every show I come on, and I'm going to test you all here very quickly. In the 4 championship races, I'm going back to 2010, my first festival. There's been 56 races. I'm not including Hurricane Fly, who won the champion hurdle the first time he ran in it, then regained it. And I'm not including Sprinter Sacra, who won the champion chase in 2013, lost it and won it back in 2016. Horses who run in championship races and don't win it on the first attempt, only 7 times out of 56 races have come back and won it on their second attempt. How many do you reckon you could name off the top of your head really quickly that have ran in the championship race, didn't win it the first time, and come back and win it on a second, third, fourth attempt?
Trivia time, boys.
I'll give you a clue. Last year's winner, Sire de Burde, was 1. He ran in the race, I think, in 2021.
Of course, as recent as that.
He was second to Flooring Porter. Binocular was favourite for the champion hurdle in 2009, won it in 2010. And then you had...
Absolute Town of Gold Cup.
Correct. And then Native
Great
River,
shout.
Gold Cup 2018, was 3rd in 2017. And the only other one to do it, I think, was Special Tiara in Politologue, who ran in the champion chase, not won it at the first attempt, and come back and won it. So that's a massive stat against Tiahupu. Don't like it. I'd be avoiding it.
That's a great stat.
I think Tiahupu is very ground dependent. I think if he was going to win it, he would have won it last year. It was the worst renewal of the Stayers Hurdle there's been. I was going to stick up Irish Point, but again, a lot of people, I think it's quite a pick that people are latching onto because it's kind of like the easy answer. Ribco have obviously got Tiahupu anyway in the race. So I think Aintree would be the main aim. I think it'd be better on a flatter track like Aintree as well. 2.5 miles will be his aim. I really haven't got anything in there at a really stupid price. I think something that could improve throughout the season, like we saw Paisley Park do the year he won it. There was another horse, Thomas Campbell, who was looking like he was progressing, then kind of found his limit. Something like Crambo, just at a massive price, could be one that could step up, potentially run in the long walk at Ascot, maybe in the Cleve Hurdle. But I really do not have a strong opinion whatsoever.
That's an interesting shout there, though, as well, Scotty, on Crambo for Fergal as well, because he's likely to improve all the way up until March as well. So he could be a completely different proposition. What about Sire de Burde, Scotty? No love for last year's winner?
When you get geniuses, I'm not going to big him up. Everyone knows who he is. Tipping it at 100-1, fair play. It's probably once or twice in the lifetime you do that. I think he'll be 12. Is it 12 he'll be next year?
Yeah, 12 from the festival.
If 12-year-olds are winning grade 1s at the festival at that level, then I'll give up. It won't happen.
Yeah, fair play for Dow. He got legendary status for picking that one out. Jamie, how do you see the Stayers at this point?
Not really in opinions, echoing what Scott says, really, Joe. I suppose last year I was kind of praying that Marie's Rock would come here, like, because I think she's now 3-miler. But what put me off what's put me off her at the moment was that she travelled like the best horse in the race at Aintree, and inside her bird I still picked her up, and I didn't like her head carriage in Aintree if you watch it back. But the only thing with Marie's Rock is that the problem is with the Stayers Hurdle with her, you need a year with I can't remember the Rebecca Curtis horse that won. Your
Liz Nagar Oscar.
Apples J went off like a lunatic and went really, really fast. And I think if there's a really, really fast pace, she will probably win because she has that. Because there was no pace last year in the Mayor's Hurdle, and it was totally against her. And the year before the Mayor's Hurdle, there was rattling good pace. She needs pace to get home, which is going to be very interesting on the day if there's a decent front runner. I agree with Scott. Like Irish Point's a wise guy horse now at the moment, and it probably needs does it need a flat track? We don't know. See, the problem is the Rob Corps have Tioco, they have Irish Point, they have Absolute Notions, they've umpteen amount of horses for this year. They don't know who's their best horse. So the trials are going to be very interesting this year, like the long walk, the long distance, the 3 mile Leopardstown. You're going to have to watch them and basically watch them with a fine tooth comb and pick a horse that you think. Now, the only thing with Irish Point, he's 2 mile pace, and I like that because it always reminds me of Nicholas Canyon when he went up to 3 miles and everyone tipped that, you know what I mean, Harry was the biggest certainty of all time. And I said Nicholas Canyon win, so I'm kind of going on that I prefer 2 mile going up to 3 miles. But I couldn't be interested. Now, West Balboa is obviously another one that went into the mix, but I think the Stairs Hurdle Ginge is going to be like wait till the day kind of job now at the moment.
What do you think of this French horse?
Yeah, look, he's one on very heavy ground. Like, and what put me off is when you hear the owners saying that we don't want them to see a British hurdle till the day. So how could you back a horse that is 6-1 giant favourite? Won't see the British hurdle till the day. He could jump the first and fall. So he's not for me anyway. I won't back him with anybody's money.
It seems to be a case now as well that hype can affect the market. It's mental the way things are in the current state. I actually really like Irish Point, and I think the reason he's not going to go to Cheltenham is because he does need a flat track. I think he'll stay 3 miles. I think he could win over 2 miles as well. We've seen plenty of gears from him. And Gordo loves Cheltenham winners. I would not be surprised to see him just take a chance and send Irish Point to Cheltenham anyway. Kieran, what do you think of the Stayers Hurdle? You put one up for this already, I believe.
Yeah, I've actually put Irish Point up on your previous video at 25s. I had a stab on that. My reasoning behind this is you're all saying he's going to go to Aintree Hurdle, this, that, and the other. He goes to the Aintree Hurdle, he's going to bump into Constitution Hill, no doubt. Because he didn't Constitution Hill win the Aintree Hurdle last year, if I remember rightly. So why go there? Well, he won at Aintree anyway, it might be over 2.5. So why go there to face Constitution Hill when you could run against, well, to say the English 3 stayers, well, we saw a couple of weeks ago, are shocking. And then I can't have Tiupu for level money because he should have won it last year, and I backed him last year, so I can't have him again. No, just not having it. And the French horse gives me Gold Tweet vibes. Or was it Gold Tweet or one that won last year?
You got it, yeah.
If anybody hasn't seen the ride that was given to that last year, go back and watch it. I think the jockey thought he was riding Frankel, I think, but that's another story altogether. But yeah, that gives me that sort of vibes. So yeah, Irish Point for me, if he goes here. Yeah, well, I'm already on at 25. If he goes, he goes. That's my point of view.
Yeah. I like that, to be honest, Kieran. I'm so tempted just to have a few quid on him just because of the price. I'd hate to miss it if he ended up going to Cheltenham because he's definitely a single figure price horse, really.
If he wins the Christmas Hurdle at Leopardstown and goes there, he'll be no bigger than 11-2 on a day. So you'll get your value for sure.
Do you think as well, if they see him win impressively over Christmas, that they'll just decide to send him here anyway?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Getting back to that there, Joe, I actually agree with Kieran there because I think if there was a proper jockey in Gold Tweet last year, he'd have been a lot closer than you think.
They don't
absolute shocking, right?
Yeah, they don't.
It was absolutely shocking, and he absolutely hosed up in the Cleve Hurdle. He's 33-1. Like he could come back like big time here, but the problem is I don't think that jockey's going to be on it anyway. I think the owners were absolutely pissed off what happened last year in the
He's got to retire surely after that run.
Sure. Did he retire the jockey?
I don't know. I hope so after that run.
Yeah, it was Sharon is his name. Jay Sharon.
Yeah. I'm sure you're going to see Gold Tweet again in the Cleve Hurdle, and then like if he's in the first 1 or 2 or 3, he's going to collapse the price as well. Like.
Cool. It's a difficult to figure out. So most of us are sat on the fence for the time being. Kieran has got stuck straight in. Cool. All right, guys, let's move on to the main event of the week. We've got the Gold Cup. Galopin de Champs is our 2-1 favourite. Jerry Colomb now 5-1. Shishkin 14s. Fast or Slow 14s. Brave Man's getting 16-1 now. Real Whacker 20-1 and 25-1 bar those. James, kick us off in the Gold Cup, man. How did you think Jerry ran the other day? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I did like it. Yeah, when he beats Envoy and a Ryanair winner and a third in the Gold Cup conflated, what rate 163, 167, you have to stand up and take notice of that. I'm not buying the thing that he's slow. He's not slow. Watch him run at entry. He is not slow. He ran over 2.5 miles all year last year. Then he steps up to 3 miles and got an absolute shocking ride by Jordan Gainford in the Brown Advisory. I see the bookies now and Petri 6.5 have moved Galloping the Champ up to 2-1.
Massive.
Are they a bit slow there? Like, because like 2-1 is huge.
It's
Huge.
massive.
Massive. The other thing is like there's huge pace now in the Gold Cup, especially if the real backer runs, and he's gonna run because they're gonna go for glory. Regardless of what he does the weekend. It was like the real backer is probably giving me long run vibes at the moment for the Paddy Power Gold Cup that he'll probably go off favourite, but joint favourite stage there on Saturday, and he'll finish second or third, and they'll think it's a bad run or something like that. But I couldn't have him from Monday to Sunday as real backer. I can't have, my opinion on Brave Man's game. He'll never win a Gold Cup. I suppose the flying ointment will always be fast or slow. Is it going to be a fluke, a punch down or not? No, he is an improving horse and he's a young horse, so you have to see him. But surely, look, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest, and I'm going to be controversial here, that fast or slow could be got up in the shop in the dark, and you just wouldn't know there. But see, the thing with Martin Brazel, he just primes his horses for the spring. So, but to me, it's a two-hand reel at the moment. I can't have Shishkin has no chance in the Gold Cup. Not a hope. He won't stay up at the pace because they go fast. But between Gallopin and Jerry, I'm still in the Gallopin and the Champ. Until you go past him, it'll take a very good horse to be Gallopin and the Champ.
Okay. Scotty?
I totally agree with what Jamie said. The real whacker has no chance in the Gold Cup. Absolutely think it's ridiculous they're running him. They were even talking about running him in it last year as a novice, which just no disrespect to Mr. Neville, the trainer. I think he's just a bit overexcited by the whole ordeal. I don't think his form's that good. Going back to the Dipper, I think the Browns last year was, again, what Jamie said. Jordan Gainford gave Jerry a shocking ride, left it too late. Like again, agreeing with Jamie, which is not a good thing for me. Jerry running over 2.5 all last year, Limerick, then he won the Scilly Isles. He's not slow whatsoever. But at the same time, if he's going to beat Envoy Allen at Down Royal in his own cup final, showing a lot of speed, then he's definitely got the ability. And it's one of those races. Brave Man's game, if he was going to win the Gold Cup, it was last year. He's not going to win. And I'm looking through the betting. What's going to turn up again? A lot of the horses are going into the cross country. Manila Endo's talk about him going cross country, conflated. You're looking at horses who have been out injured, the likes of L'Homme Pressé. He could return, but I don't like backing horses who have had injuries, especially for big races. It could be a very ground-dependent bet. I mean, if it comes up really soft, I'd be worried about backing Gallopin des Champs again, because I do think that that run at Punchestown was slightly worrying. He didn't have like a massively long season. He was quite lightly campaigned last season. I know he went for the big races, and the Gold Cup does take a lot out of horses. I think he's the right favourite, and 2-1 is a good enough price at this stage. But there is an absolute crazy horse who I think the world of, and I think he could have won the Brown Advisory a couple of years ago, the one that L'Homme Pressé won, and that's Farouk Delaine. He's been injured, and if it absolutely pisses down on the day in the Gold Cup, and he turns up and has one run, he's one I'd be tempted to look at a stupid price. Shishkin will be 10. 10-year-olds don't win Gold Cups. I think the last one to do so was, I think it was Cool Dawn in 1998, I think, going way back. So, again, that's another big stat against Shishkin. Jerry Colomb is the smart bet, I think. If he gets ridden with a sensible ride, a bit closer to the pace, that extra 2.25 miles, 2 furlongs and a quarter is going to suit him. And I think Gallopin des Champs could be there to be shot at. And Jerry Colomb's probably the most likely winner for me at this stage. And again, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what else is going to run. Everybody slates Gaillard de Menil. He's a little bit of a terrier of a horse. He always seems to place in his grade ones. He probably get each way shouts, but I think it's a 2-horse race. I think Gallopin des Champs and Jerry Colomb to fight it up the hill. And if L'Homme Pressé comes back and gets his ground and he shows his ability, he might finish third. But I'd probably just go for Jerry at this stage and see what happens. But again, it's just, I'm on at 8 Ante Post. I won't be taking anything less now, these 4s, and I'll be happy with that.
All right, okay. Kieran? How do you see the Gold Cup, mate?
I think Gallopin's the most likely winner for me. I thought he won it really well last year. I wouldn't look at the Punchestown run. They always run badly at Aintree, Punchestown afterwards. The Gold Cup's the big day. That was his big day. He won it impressive amount. What was it? 8, 9, 10 lengths back to Roadman's game in the end. So that was easy, fair enough. Jerry Colomb, I think, is slow. You lot may say he went over 2.5 miles. I think he's slow, and I think he needs heavy ground as well. So if it does piss it down all day Friday, I back him over Gallopin, but then the betting will probably sway that anyway, because he needs every part of the 3 mile too for me. And on heavy ground, he's the ideal winner, Jerry Colomb. But if it comes up anywhere good, Gallopin will be too fast for him, and it'll be all she wrote, I think. The rest, fast or slow, is third in the betting. He's handicapper for me. He only won at Punchestown purely and simply because the other 2 were over the hill. He'll be back in the Ultima. I don't know why they're thinking Gold Cup. He'll be back in the Ultima off some ridiculous mark. And that is that, really. Brave Man's Game is all about the King George. Shishkin will make 10, 12 mistakes out of the 15 fences or whatever he got to jump. So, and he'll be miles back. That's that for me, really. Just like everybody said, 2-horse race. Galloping on good, Jerry on heavy. It's soft, I don't know.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, I think this is a straight up 1-horse race. I think we're making it way too complicated for ourselves there. I think Gallopin's way too good. I like the fact he's quite lightly campaigned, like you said as well, Scotty, because I think that gives him an opportunity then to be primed for Cheltenham. And I know we talk about Jerry being slow. I don't necessarily think he's slow. I just think he's a little bit of a lazy horse, and he takes a few slaps to get himself going. When he finds he does have a turn of foot, he managed to pick off NYLN at the weekend in a matter of strides when he got going. So personally, I think he's got plenty of stamina and probably enough speed to compete. But I just think the 3 mile 2 furlong out of this lineup only really suits Gallopin Deschamps and possibly Lompresse, because even though Brave Man's Game stays, I don't think he's fully effective over this mark. But again, 16 to 1's a big price for him when he's going to turn up in pretty tip-top shape as well. But surely this is Gallopin Deschamps to lose. Certainly this year again, I think they'll keep him quite nicely lightly campaigned, and I think he's going to take all of the beat. And 2 to 1, very backable price at this point in time as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Mares' Hurdle on the Tuesday of the Cheltenham Festival. And this is definitely a race where I've got a very strong opinion. I do already have a selection up for this race, but we'll take a look at the betting first. We've got Lossiemouth at 3 to 1, Ashrow Diamond at 7s, Gala Marceau at 9, so I think they may end up sending chasing, Love Envoi at 12s, You Wear It Well at 12s, 14 to 1 for Echoes in Rain, and any price you like for the remainder. Now, Lossie is obviously coming through after winning last year's Triumph Hurdle. She's currently your 3 to 1 favourite, and a lot of people are calling her a banker for this year, even though she's got to step up and trip and prove that she's just as effective over 2.5 miles. I personally got some reservations about her. I'd like to see her in the Champion Hurdle myself, potentially with that claim. Not necessarily sure she could beat Constitution Hill, but I just think she's an out-and-out 2 miler. Let's go with Kieran. What do you think of the Mares' Hurdle?
Well, I'm in complete agreement with you in regards to Lossiemouth. I think she needs 2 miles. She ran so free in the Triumph, it was untrue. I know she got home and won really well, but I think, if, like you said, if she went in the Champion Hurdle, getting £7, she might not get close to Constitution Hill, but I reckon she'd run a better race there than she's going to run here, personally. I have a stat about Triumph Hurdle horses as well. In the last 10 years, the winners of the Triumph Hurdle, how many races have they won the next year between them?
I've had a look at this myself. Not very many whatsoever.
One the next year, and that was Tiger Roll in 2014. Well, 2015 was the year.
It's significant. It's significant.
The rest
that
of them
you know.
Nothing.
Mm.
I know most of them either went to the Champion Hurdle or were injured or stuff like that. Like Pentland Hills has won a walkover race, and that's it. But yeah, it's very minimal to say the least. So I'd have reservations about her for certain. Willie obviously is mob-handed with many. Always has decent mares. Gala Marceau, but then beaten by Lossiemouth. Will she improve for the extra distance? If I had to take one of his, I'd take Ashrow Diamond. But then again, she didn't run at Cheltenham last year. So it's the Cheltenham factor, whether she's going to run well at Cheltenham. My selection, if I was to pick one right now, would be the second from last year, Love Envoy. I think she ran a hell of a race behind Honeysuckle last year. It was all written in the stars that Honeysuckle was going to win. Let's be fair of ourselves. Well, the celebrations and everything afterwards told you that. I think there was plenty of tears in the eyes of people around. But yeah, I think she ran a massive race, Love Envoy, and you take Honeysuckle out, she's well clear of the rest of them. So I think she's got a massive chance in it this year myself.
Yep, she's the standard setter, isn't she? I mean, whoever's going to beat her this season, if she runs up to the same mark, they're going to have to be nearly as good as Honeysuckle, Annie Power, you name it, because there wasn't a lot between Love Envoy and Honeysuckle last year.
She's not going to have a lot. Yeah, she's not going to have a lot from over this side of the water either that she's going to run against Cheltenham.
That's it.
They're going to give her much of a run, so she's only have to be 80% to win over here beforehand.
I don't think she's as ground dependent as what people make out as well. I just think she's so much better than other mares in deep ground for some reason. I think she's just as effective on a good to soft surface. And I definitely think that she is the standard setter. She's a very, very good bet at 12-1 at the moment. I don't think anyone can knock that. And she's a very, very straightforward type, handles Cheltenham. She ticks all of the boxes and probably is overpriced, to be honest, at 12-1.
Yeah.
Go on, Kieran. Go on.
Yeah, well, the Astro Diamond thing obviously links into your little baby Marine Nationale and the Royal Bomb form, doesn't it? So we'll just drop her in. I know you wanted to drop Marine Nationale at some point. So there you go. There's your plug for Marine.
I was trying to save it for episode 2 when I can really get stuck in a little bit. But yeah, not any chance to mention him, of course.
There's your plug, mate.
There it is. There it is. She was seriously good though at Fairy House over 2 mile 4, and she literally just won in a hacked up canter. And I don't get everybody saying she didn't beat much. There were some good horses in there, and it was quite a deep field as well. I think she's going to take some beating, this Astro Diamond. I really do feel like she's the one that they're all going to have to beat here. James, am I
factor for me?
Of course, but she did have a slight niggling injury. Of course, she's got to still get there and prove that she handles it. It wasn't. They didn't skip Cheltenham on the basis that they weren't sure that she was going to handle the track. It was more just a slight niggle that she may not be 100% ready. And then, of course, what she did at Fairy House blew me away. She's my favourite mare, I think, in training at the moment, and she's a walk in the park. I'm just a bit obsessed with those.
There it is.
There you know. There you go.
There it is.
Jamie, am I barking at the wrong tree here? Astro Diamond, 2 mile 4. She's already proven over the trip, or is Lossiemouth going to be too good?
No, I totally agree with you, Ginge. If I was backing a horse, that would be Astro Diamond. I suppose the thing to factor in is that they wanted to go chasing, and Willie Mullins asked the owners and said, "No, we want to crack at the mares early." Isn't that not a tip in itself? My problem with Lossiemouth is that obviously I think it'll be in a champion hurdle eventually, because Rich Ritchie will want to run her in the champion hurdle unless Fallbang comes back and jumps the hurdle. I don't buy, regardless of your affiliate, as you said, Oracle. It doesn't matter. If 5-year-olds in their open company season, they're going to struggle, and I think she'll struggle. I think Gala Marceau will struggle. The only other horse that I fancy, bar Astro Diamond, is West Balboa, because the fact matter, they'll find out if she's not good enough to be a 3 mile stairs hurdler, they'll come back here like they did with Roxana. So,
gosh, she was a tough mare.
The moment Astro Diamond looks a beast, and I think she's really good. And I'd have backed her last year in the Mayor's Novice, and I thought she would have won the Mayor's Novice hurdle. So she's older than Lossiemouth and Garda Mars. So obviously in 7-1, we might bet at the moment it'll be Astro Diamond.
Do you reckon they could send Gala Marceau chasing, James? She obviously won at Otoy, didn't she, over 2 months? No, don't think so. Think she'll just stay hurdling? All right, fair enough. I just want to ask you as well, James, what do you think of Love Envoy? Obviously, she's the best that we've got our side. Perhaps, obviously, we've got You Wear It Well coming through. Don't like her?
I see she's going for the fighting fifth. They're obviously looking for a bit of prize money and finish second to Constitution Hill, but you have to remember, like you said there, Joe, that there was no pace last year in the Mares Hurdle. She got her own way in front of Honeysuckle. If there's a bit of pace in the race in March, she's no chance. I would back her anybody's money. She won't even be in the first 3.
And there will be pace on as well that day. They're going to go. There's loads of that this year. When you look through the lineup here, so Astro Diamond for you then would be the bet right now as well, James.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Scotty, are we going to make it? Oh wait, it's not going to be a full house, is it? Kieran likes Love Envoy, but who do you fancy in the Mares Hurdle, Scotty?
I fancy two at this stage, probably one slightly stronger than the other. But I think Love Envoy last year was given one of the best rides of the meeting. Obviously, she didn't win. Jonathan Burke gave her a brilliant ride. I think the race was pretty weak, to be honest. Honeysuckle was obviously at the end of her career. She probably performed to one of her lowest ratings she had done for 3 or 4 years and still won the race. That goes to show how poor the race was. The likes of Queensbrook, Merrickbrook was in behind. Echoes and Rain, who doesn't stay a yard past 2 miles. She's always in the wrong races. So I'm looking back at that. Marie's Rock ran way below form. I'm not taking that form literally from that race last year. So Love Envoy for me has got no chance compared to her chances last year. I think Lossiemouth, I agree, should be running over 2 miles. I think she's a champion hurdle horse. Gala Marceau, I think a lot of people are talking about her, but she was well put in her place by Lossiemouth last year. Obviously, she won the Spring Juvenile, but that was more luck than anything. I think with the way Lossiemouth was ridden that day, she ran into trouble. She would have won the race. So it would have been 3 out of 3, I think, for Lossie over Gala Marceau. I can't see her improving. The only thing for Gala Marceau in her favour was that run in France where she won the Triumph Juvenile. The French Juvenile, where she beat Zarek the Brave, who's come out and won the Galway Hurdle, but he was disappointing next time out. So it's a bit up and down. I think You Wear It Well is a very, very good horse. I think she's going to be massively overlooked this year. I think she's the best of the British. Gavin Sheehan will be on board. And I think Jamie Snowden's a bit like Ferdy Murphy. I think I've got that kind of vibe from him where he'll always pluck out one winner every year at the festival going forward. He's starting to get some very good horses now, is Mr. Snowden. And I think Gavin Sheehan, we've seen him before on Cole Harden when he won the Stairs Hurdle from the front. I think it's kind of like that kind of race. And I think the only horse that can get near her is Ashrow Diamond. I do think Ashrow Diamond's a really good horse. I think it's between the two of them, and just at the prices, I think You Wear It Well, I'd back now and be happy with her each way. And on the day, if Ashrow Diamond puts a few good performances together, I'd probably pile in on the day. She's got the form behind the Marine Machine. She's got the Irish Point form tied in with Royal Bond, mixing it with the likes of Facile Vega and Elite Toms, which is really good form. I think it's between those two, and I don't think anything else will get close. I think Lossiemouth will be probably found out in this race. And that would be my first 3. Okay, You Wear It Well, Ashrow Diamond, and if something like Zenta doesn't go chasing, something really sneaky like that to get into places. But between the two of them, I'd just go for You Wear It Well.
Cool. I think Zenta is going chasing, but I love that You Wear It Well, Scotty. Big up to Gavin Sheehan as well. He doesn't get enough clause for how good he is this year.
You look at her back form. Obviously, everyone hates Hermes Allen, slates him. I like Hermes Allen. I think he's got a good chasing career ahead of him. He won that Challow in good style. Katera was lightly campaigned last year, and she finished ahead of You Wear It Well behind Irish Point in I think it was the Mile Main Officers Hurdle at Aintree. And she's absolutely blitzed Katera and reversed that form up at Wetherby. I think she's going to be really good this year. So that's the one I'd be on.
I think when she was behind Hermes Allen as well, I'm sure she carried a penalty that day as well. So you can even give that form another bit of a boost that day. She's definitely a good horse. I really am strong opinionated though that Ashrow Diamond is going to be the best of these mares. For me, when you're looking at the mares' horses, again, this may obviously prove right as well with Lossiemouth possibly not fulfilling her potential this year, but physicality in mares to me is massive. I like the fact she's got 2 years on Lossiemouth, 2 years on Gala Marceau. She's already a graded winner. She's mixed it with the big boys. I don't see what's not to like about the 7-1 about Ashrow Diamond. I think she is an absolutely outstanding bet for this season. Festival.
Just to validate the point you made, like Kieran raised it as well, her run not running at Cheltenham last year, I believe as well, she was slightly niggled. I don't think they were worried about going there. I just think she wasn't right, hence why they didn't run her. So I wouldn't be worried about that at all.
I mean, they said I wasn't going to bring up Marie, but this is exactly my point about Marie Nationale and Facile Vega, right? Willie quite clearly stated he would not run Facile Vega at the Cheltenham Festival if he wasn't right, and Imperi Pass would go to the 2-miler. The fact that Facile Vega did run, to me, tells me that he was absolutely right on the day and that Marine's the best horse. Anyway, that's for next episode.
Gaelic Warrior would have won the Ballymore if Imperi Pass switched anyway, so yeah, exactly what you're saying. You had no reason to do it.
Some absolute monsters to go forward with this season. So, yeah, okay, cool. Well, Ashrow Diamond and Love Envoy and You Wear It Well across the board, I guess, those for those 3. Let's go on to the mares' chase. I'm going to start with Jamie here after I've gone through the betting. We've got Allegory Devassi at 7-2, Dino Blue at 13-2, who I get the feeling Jamie's starting to quite like. Impervious at 9-1, last year's winner. Love Envoi 12-1, she's not going chasing. Then you've got Limerick Lace, Harmonia Maker, Apple Away, Brandy Love, and then you've got Mascada at 33-1, which is still, in my eyes, a very big price. Jamie, do you like the Mares Chase this season?
I don't know what you're on about there, Jins. I like Dinah Blue. I like Dinah Blue for a 2 miler, not a 2.5 miler. She
Got
won't
you.
stay.
Got you.
This is one of the bankers meeting already, and it's Allegory Devasti 7-2. I got a bit of 6-1. There's no other horse in the race for me. They're all useless. Impervious was the best mare we've seen for a long time. Look, Mare's Chase is Mare's Chase. Would they come back is a big question with mares. But Allegory Devasti 7-2. She's one of the bankers meeting already. Get on now.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Kieran, who do you fancy?
I don't think Allegory likes the battle. I think if something comes alongside, I think she'll bottle it again like she did last year. Although I would have been all over Impervious had Impervious run. Maybe she still will. Maybe she will come back. 9-1 might be big right now. Was that what you said? 9-1 was it?
9-1, yeah.
Impervious
Right.
at the yeah.
Drifting as well. Drifting.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that means bad vibes though, doesn't it? Let's be fair.
Of course.
They haven't said she's out for the year, but that doesn't look well. She's probably about 16s on the exchange.
I think they're hopeful of getting her back for Cheltenham, but again, going straight to Cheltenham and winning that is going to be serious tough ask, isn't it?
Dino Blue was good on Sunday, but then I'm with Jamie. I don't think she stays further than 2 miles. I think 2 miles is her trip, but whether they go down this route or whether they go Champion Chase is a factor. Harmonia Maker was okay at Goran, beating Brandy Love. I thought that was good. I am going to take a swipe at one. If Apple Away came here, she made a decent start over fences and came here, because let's be fair, this is weaker than what the Brown Advisor is going to be. Let's be honest with ourselves. If she came here and put it up to him from the front, I know she might set it up for Allegory Devasti, but I think she'd outstay Allegory Devasti. So that's where I'm going to go with this. Apple Away all the way.
I love that, Kieran. I really do, because I've seen a lot of people, including Bad Boy. He loves this horse for the Brown Advisory, and Jamie from the Discord as well. I will give a shout out to Jamie there as well. Kieran, these two absolutely love Apple Away for the Brown Advisory. She hasn't got a hope in hell of beating the Irish Geldings over 3 miles. I have no idea what they're thinking of trying to take those horses on. The reason we never see a 3 mile mare win at Cheltenham in the Brown Advisory is because they're not strong enough. They're not quick enough. They don't have the effective assets to win over 3 miles. The fact that she is going to be targeted towards the Brown Advisory, to me, is very unlikely that it's going to work out for her in a positive way. I would much prefer to see her in the Mares Chase, because I would give her a really big chance in this. What I will say as well about Allegory Devasti is she was given the name Allegory Defati last year because she wasn't finishing her races. But again, she could be a much better horse this season with another year on her back. And I have had word that Allegory Devasti was potentially going to be targeted towards the Champion Chase until Impervious came out. So they must think a lot of Allegory Devasti for the season on her back. But 7-2 is a pretty decent price, but I'm going to stick my neck out and stick with Mascada here. I know she's gone out to 33-1, but the way she came at that hill last season, she's going to be back to that form come March. And if she is in that sort of form again, she is definitely going to be a force to reckon with. She ran in the Grand Annual, beat Dino Blue, who obviously went on and won her next 2 starts. And Mascada ran off a mark of 142, given her weight, and made pretty damn light work of that as well. She is a 158 mare, I think, now. I think she's going to have a really big chance. And I think we're a little bit guilty of writing off horses too soon. Scotty, who do you fancy here?
Well, I agree strongly with some points and disagree very strongly with some points. So I'm going to defend Apple Away like you defend Marine Nationale. I think Kieran's point's pretty valid, but I don't think Lucinda's the kind of trainer to mess around with horses. I think Apple Away will go to Browns. I think you're a bit harsh writing her off. I think times change in racing, and I think you see, look at what Cole Reevy did. I know it wasn't Cheltenham, but she beat Monkfish and Envoy Allen over 3 miles. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. And Corbett's Cross the other day wasn't very good. He was a hot fancy early stage for the Browns. That race could be very open this year. And I'm not going to waste time talking about the race because we're talking about the Mares Chase. Dino Blue cannot have whatsoever for this race. There's 2 horses in training. that will be campaigned over the wrong trip by the best trainer in the world, Willie Mullins. Echoes and Rain, I've already said it, should not stay a yard over 2 miles. Dino Blue is a champion chase horse. They're wasting their time. She almost got collared by Phil Dawn that race the other day. I think the angle at, where was it, Nace or Nav in one of the races? I was getting them mixed up.
Nice.
And I thought Phil Dawn was coming to get her. She just runs on empty. And in the Grand Annual last year, she almost got there, but she reached that point of the 2 miles where she thinks, fuck this, I've had enough. And that's it. So I cannot have her at any price. Allegory Devassi is an absolute certainty to win this race if she jumps. If she gets round, she will win. Kieran, I think, was a bit harsher in his comments, saying she will bottle it like she did last year. Allegory Devassi was fighting to that line, but she just got beat by an absolute brilliant mare who got back up herself to go past her and win. Impervious not being here has opened the door, just like Ellie May did when she came second to Cole Reevy. Will do what she did second last year, will go one better this year, and she will piss the mare's chase. But Mascada, do not write her off. I do think she's pretty poor first time out early season. She's a spring horse. She gets better as the season goes on. 33s is a big each way price. If she gets a bit of better ground, I don't think it will do her any harm. I think she'll stay the trip, and I think that's the one too. I think it will be Allegory Devassi, probably my biggest certainty behind Constitution Hill at this stage.
Would you what do you think we'd possibly see Apple Away in the mare's chase, Scotty, or do you think it's full route to the Browns? Because of course they've got Giovinco now, obviously on the radar.
They do, but for me, like I said in my Ante Post video, I tipped up Apple Away for Aintree more so as a long-term prospect. I think the 3 mile race there, Aintree would be more her thing, but I do think they may take their chance in the Browns as well. But I like Giovinco. I think he's a massive horse for them. But long-term, I think Apple Away will be an Aintree horse, but she will no way run in the mare's chase. It'll be Brown Advisory or Aintree.
Okay, interesting. Nice points there, guys. I quite enjoyed that. I think James gave me something to think about a few of these as well in that race, especially with Allegory Devassi. Again, this is one of those races that come Cheltenham, she could be a massive price to be fair. But I'm sticking with Mascada. I've got no reason to doubt her. I thought she was going to need that run. She's going to come on for it plenty, and she will do for me. So we've had a look through 6 races now. We're going to move on to the Ante Post selections for this week. And why don't we start with Kieran as a newbie? Why don't you bring us a winner on episode 1?
Wow. I was going to give you Irish Point, but I can't give you that because I've already given it on the previous videos. So I'll go elsewhere. And I'm going to go to the race we've just described. Apple Away for the mare's chase. I believe it's 20-1. Apple Away all the way. Don't put her in the Browns, Lucinda. Come here. And take away Allegory Devassi.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, Jane, what have you got then? What have you got for us this week?
I can't really tip Allegory Devassi, and
Yeah, sure.
because we said it in the previous thing. So my first Ante Post selection will be in the Triumph Hurdle. I see a lot of people putting up Sergino, who's been bought by the Donnellys, Salvatore Mundi by Munir, and my tip is going to be, I see Willie Mullins, Eamon Eagle obviously said that, Willie, can you give us the horse to follow for the year, and it's called Majborough. Little bit into the farm, I've watched both of these. I must go with the sectionals first, but I noticed there that there's 2 divisions of the Pre-Wild Monarch in France, and the Fillies one was won by Nara, and now that's gone bought by McManus, and it's gone to Henry de Bromhead. The other 2, Sergino obviously has gone to Henderson by the Donnellys, and Sergino beat Salvatore Mundi in the Pre-Wild Monarch, and it ran a 3:36. I watched the race, and Salvatore Mundi looked to me that look, it's French hurdles, you know yourself. Didn't jump as bad as Sergino, and Sergino rallied and beat it up close to the line. But then I watched Majborough, and Majborough did a quicker time, 4 seconds, than Salvatore Mundi and Sergino. Now, my only crib of the race that Majborough won was that it's been won by horses that have gone to Gary Moore with big, huge reputations in Bozenet and Porticello. Frodon actually won this race in 20.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah. So it was bought privately by McManus, and it's been in Martinstown for the last year. So that's, well, I suppose, last, say, 6 to 9 months. So Willie Mullins says it looks like a 5-year already, and I love that. Obviously, it's strengthened. Obviously, it's
Massive.
more advanced than all the rest of the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds going on for. So I think it's 16 to 1 or something, Masborough. Yeah, it's a tentative selection, but for a bit of value, I'm going to go with Masborough. Yeah, it's my first selection.
Nice one, James. Nice dark horse as well for episode 1. Lovely job. Scotty, what have you got lined up for us? This could be anything.
I spent 2 days going through every market to try and find something for a bit of value, and I had 2 horses written down. And when Jamie said Triumph Hurdle, I was praying he was going to say Madgeborough, and he did. So I'm like, get in there. So I'm happy with my selection there. But this one's a bit left field. So you've got 3 races that could potentially go in. One's the Arc or one's the Turners, but it's 14 to 1 to win any race on hills. But I'm going to stick it up for the Turners at 33 to 1. And it ran last week, made its novice chase debut, beating Sandor Clegane. I know the way you're thinking. And that's Imagine for Gordon Elliott. I really, really love the way this horse jumped over 2 miles first time out. I think he won a bumper at Punchestown, and then he got bought up by the same owners as Mighty Potter, Field or Pied Piper. That's the colours he races in now. He was sent off favourite for the Martin Pipe last year, joint fav, finished 5th. The race of Rocco won. I like horses that run in that race and do well in the race and progress to be good chasers following season. You've had the likes of Don Poley, Sir Deschamps, Galloping Deschamps, of course. Champagne Classic won the race. He would have been the National Hunt Chase winner if he was fit. I really do like Imagine, and I think he's definitely one to keep on side. Let's be clear about it. Was another one I took into account who was very impressive, but he's going to be 9, which for me is a bit late in his career. He's obviously had his niggles. So hence the reason I'm picking Imagine. I think 14's to win any race at the festival. He probably won't go the Arkle. I reckon 2.5's his trip, and the Turners at 33's is a big price. So he'll be the one that I'll be interested in this season, and he'll be my first pick.
Great shout. Nice one, Scotty. Lovely job. All right, well, I will finish us off, and mine was actually between 2. And I'm selecting in the pocket, but for the Turners. I believe that this horse is going to step up in trip. I really do. I know he's got this 2-mile form, and I actually thought they were going to step him up to 2-mile 4 at the end of last season, but he has won at Naas, which is a pretty decent track to go and win around for these sort of horses as well. And I think he's got a lot of stamina to show this one. I know he obviously ran behind Marine in the Supreme, but that form works out pretty nicely. I'm not totally convinced that they're going to go down the Arkle route with him, despite JP desperate to win himself an Arkle in the near future. I think in the pocket it's going to be a really good bet come March for the Turners at 12 to 1. And I'll go on the nose as well. I don't like to mess around with the each ways when it comes to Ante Post. I think the 12 to 1 will do for me this week. So then, that is a wrap for episode 1. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Bad Boy, Jaime, Kieran, thanks very much for joining us. We've got loads more content to come over the next few weeks. We didn't want to get out too early. We wanted to wait for some of these markets to open up a little bit. But in episode 2, we will go through the novice hurdles and the novice chases. We'll do 6 races again, and we will bring you a selection in each. I will again be joined by Scotty, Jaime, and Kieran. But we also have a very special guest in the name of Emma Nagle from Irish Racing joining us. So, James, we're going to have someone from your side of the water join the show just to make sure we know what you're saying throughout the episode.
At last.
Long time. Look, guys, thanks so much for joining us again. Really do appreciate you tuning in. And if you haven't done so already, please do click subscribe to the episode. It helps us out a great deal. And we will see you all real soon.